When it comes to the clay shooting games, you have all sorts of options. Trap, skeet, sporting clays. But there's another one that's one of my favorites, and that is 5-stand. The heck is 5-stand? Today we're talking all about it, how to shoot it, and what makes it such a great game. You ready? Let's go. So 5-stand is kind of like a combination of all those games put together. So when it comes to shooting trap, you're shooting very limited target presentations coming out of one oscillating machine. When you shoot sporting clays, you go out on a course and go to all these different stations. 5-stand kind of puts those together, right? It condenses down the space, so we have many different target presentations, but we're doing it all from one space. So what's cool about that is sporting clays, it's time consuming. It's gonna take you some time to get out there, go through the whole course, where we can shoot a 5-stand in 25-30 minutes if we got a full squad. If I'm by myself, I can shoot it a whole lot quicker. But what I really love is the different target presentations. I'm more of the type of shooter that I go out for the experience and just the joy of shooting, and also just for good practice for hunting scenarios, and you get that with 5-stand. So much like trap, we do have 5-post, or they're called stands in 5-stand. Now if we look at the different stations or stands, we have a menu card in each one that tells us what we're going to be shooting. So we get different presentations at every stand. Not only are we moving different distances away from the machines in relation to the machine, so it changes how we see the birds, but also we're getting different orders and combinations. So pretty typically in 5-stand, you might start with a single. So here we got a single 2. We find our single 2, they're all nicely labeled. I'm gonna call pull and shoot the single 2. And we're gonna go through this menu. So if I shoot my single, generally the person in station 2 is gonna shoot theirs, and we just move down the line. Once everyone shot their singles, it's pretty common to have a report pair. This is a 1-6 report pair. What is a report pair, Steve? It's simply you call pull, they're gonna throw the number 1, and as soon as you shoot, they hear the report of the shotgun, they're gonna throw a number 6. No need to call pull a second time. Now what's a little bit different about this menu card is usually you'll have a true pair at the end. That is where they're gonna throw 2 clays at the same time. So you call pull and both machines are throwing at the same time, so you gotta be a little bit quicker. This 5-stand is set up fairly easy, which makes it enjoyable for beginning shooters. After all shooters have shot their 5 at each station, it's time to rotate. So actions open, rotate, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. But when we get to station 5, things are gonna be a little bit different on how we rotate, because obviously all the other stations are rotating to the right. When you get to station 5 and you're done shooting, it's time to rotate. The correct way to do it is actually exit to your right, obviously action open, and walk down to station 1. Now a couple other etiquette things to remember, safety things to remember with 5-stand. If we have a break action, it's important that when we're walking around, the action's open. Even when you come into many clubs like here at the Alexandria Shooting Park, we prefer your gun uncased and actioned open. Because when your gun's in a case, we can't tell what's going on. When it's out, action open, we can visually see what's going on with your shotgun. Now if you're carrying a pump or semi-auto, generally action open, and you're gonna carry that with the muzzle to the sky. Now, the great thing about this game is you can use an over-under, pump, semi-auto, really whatever you want to use as long as it will hold 2 shells at a time. Now, when you're shooting a 5-stand, it's a very similar approach to how we're going to shoot sporting clays. And we just released a video not long ago with Travis Mears, professional sporting clay shooter, and that's pretty in-depth and it's really good stuff. We'll link to that video. You can definitely check that out. But a few tips on shooting 5-stand, how we approach targets. There's 3 ways that I commonly see people mess up target presentations like this. 1 has to do with their stance, 2 has to do with their hold points and focal points, and number 3 has to do with where their focus is. So we're gonna address each one of those in brief detail. We're not gonna get super in depth. We're shooting a variety of targets moving different directions. We need to have flexibility in our hips and legs and be able to swing and move on targets. Trap is a little bit more forgiving because you have such limited presentation. We got horizontal moving targets, we got incomers, we got high arcers, outgoing, we got all sorts of stuff out here. That's a cool thing about 5-stand too, is you can see not only a variety of presentations, but even in clays. A standard 108 millimeter clay is kind of the, well, name says it, standard. You can also have middies or minis, small clays. You can have bat twos, a different type of clay, rabbits to go along the ground. lots of variety. So to set up, we want to have a pretty decent stance that is set up for our target break area. So for example, if I'm going to shoot number 1, we got the number 1 machine out there. Let's take a look at that number 1. Okay, so that came out, bang. For me to visually pick it up and shoot it, it's probably right about there. So I want to set my body up that is most comfortable, kind of neutral in the hips for my target break area. So that target break area, if it's there and I'm set up for it, I can swing to the left, I can swing to the right without hitting resistance. People do a lot of different things with your feet, but what you really have to think about is how does changing your feet affect 1, your hips, and 2, your ability to put weight forward and sort of have that hinge point. So I always like to have a little bit of weight forward. It's not a ton, it's maybe just 10% forward. So I'm just slightly into the gun. My feet are at an angle that makes it natural for my hips to swing. We got videos that go over footwork. We'll link to those as well. Now from this position, that's more of a crossing target. So I'm gonna say about 50%. So there's target break area, back 50% on the line of the target. This is the third thing, the focal point. My eyes are gonna be focused just in front of that clay machine to pick up that clay so I can start moving as it comes out. A lot of times people wanna focus right here, especially when the clay's thrown. Am I lined up? As you've seen in hopefully some of the other videos that I've put out, where our focus goes, our shotgun flows. So we definitely don't wanna be staring at the bead. You can start pre-mounted. It's one of those games you can start pre-mounted. Might feel more natural, like a hunting scenario, if you start with the gun down and mount into it. You can practice. This is great for practicing hunting scenarios. Well, let's go ahead and give that a try on the number 1 machine. So I'm on a good athletic stance, weight slightly forward, set up on my target break area. I'm gonna come back on the line, eyes in front of the machine, pull, dead bird. Now, that wasn't a perfect approach. I think there's things I can improve on that, but simply having a decent stance, having your body set up for the target break area, bringing your hold point back so you can mount and move on that bird, and having the eyes in the right spot makes a world of difference. I can't tell you how many times I see people, and they're usually hunters, and that's fine, but even in hunting scenarios, we can approach targets in less risky or more risky ways as far as whether we're gonna hit or miss. But a lot of times you'll see people come out, they're like this, and they call pull. Well, think about this. If I'm shooting off this 1 machine and I call pull, and my muzzle's in the air, I have to mount, bring the muzzle down, come back, track with the clay and move. Look at all that barrel movement. Or they'll start with the barrel down, pull, come up, get on the line, pull across it. There's different types of lead approaches we can take. We've made videos on that. We won't talk about that. But I will say if we can put ourselves in a position where it's easy to get up on the bird with minimal barrel movement and get out in front of that bird to achieve proper lead with minimal barrel movement and not having to whip our gun to catch up, go up or down, all sorts of things, it makes this game a whole lot easier. I love sporting clays too. I like trap and skeet as well, but I like the camaraderie of coming out here with a group of friends. I take it pretty low key. I don't get overly serious, overly competitive, because for me, shooting is fun. Especially when I'm not making videos, I just want to go out and have fun. I don't want to try to prove that I'm anything, because I'm just a guy that loves to shoot. And I hope that you get out and try 5-stand. We do have 5-stand here at the Alexandria Shooting Park if you're in this area, but a lot of clubs that have trap skeet will also have 5-stand as well. That's just a quick look and overview of the game of 5-stand. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only gonna hit those shots you're laser focused on. So live target focused. See ya.